The world is never going to be the same again.
I'm worried about the world.
The mass chaos and crises that there was in the world, it's going to be just like that now.
This is not an accident.
How long is it going to last? Longer than, even for those of you that have some cash in the bank, way past your cash reserves.
Out of 100 people, 4 will get the message.
This thing isn't going to be over in a few weeks. This thing isn't going to be over in a few months.
The most important thing you can have right now is not job security, but meaningful work. And it's our meaningful work that gets us through the hard times. If you're worried about your job, I understand. Can't pay the rent, I understand. Can't feed the kids, I understand. But right now the question is, we have no financial education in our schools. Why? Look at the millennials. They're the biggest in-debt generation in history. Look at what we've done to our kids. How much financial education do our schools put out? 0. Is that an accident?
That's because our schools were basically built to create workers that will do what you tell them to do because they value this thing called money. And that's obviously completely wrong. And when a time like this happens, it becomes blatantly obvious what's going on with the people that are understanding money and the ones that aren't.
Socialism for the rich. Unfortunately, there's capitalism for the poor middle class, those that work for money. You're on your own. If you own a small restaurant and you got to let go of your staff, you're no different than your staff right now.
What does the next 3 months look like? Because it doesn't look pretty. I mean, people are already being laid off, made redundant. There's no cash flow in most of these businesses. How does that play out?
The national debt for World War II was $25 billion. Every day they're printing $125 billion. Every single day they're printing so much money to think of a hot air balloon with a tear in it. And they're doing desperately trying to fix this tear, but no matter how hard they try, the tear has gone beyond, it's coming down. In financial terms, it's called our debt GDP has now gone from 60 to 90 to 105, it's going to 120. We're bankrupt. And they're going to print more and more money, which means savers are losers, just as I predicted. Your money is going to be worthless in a few years. My message is the same as some of your other guests. This is metamorphosis time. Financial education is really financial transformation.
For those of you that can take the heat, 1, 2, 3 years from now, you're going to be super rich. If you're serious about making sacrifice, personal sacrifice, that it will translate into massive amounts of money. After World War I and after World War II, people became wealthy because they took advantage of the situation.
Definition of metamorphosis is very important. The evolution or the transformation from an immature form to an adult form. Metamorphosis is the same as a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. And Fuller always said there's nothing to predict a butterfly inside a caterpillar. Everybody listening right now, if you're struggling financially, just think of yourself as a little caterpillar. And this crisis is your cocoon. The question is, what do you emerge as? Do you emerge as a victim? You know, the world did it to me, and the capitalists are crook, and the rich are bastards, and all this stuff? Or do you say, oh, this is the best thing that ever happened to me? You're either going to get healthier and wealthier, or you're going to go bust. Your choice. It sits between your ears, your heart, your body, your mind, your spirit, your attitude.
Most people are scared. Most people are feeling pain. They're watching their money go out the window. Some are going to be able to realize and say, wow, this is the greatest moment of my life where I'm going to be forced to transform, and I can completely look at money in a different way, wealth in a different way, my purpose. Or they can batten down the hatches and get the last piece of toilet paper and hold on and keep doing the same behavior.
The prison is inside our brains. The financial crisis, as you know, actually started back in 1903 when those guys took over the education system. And so the reason we have so many people in trouble is you go to school, and what did they teach you about money? Nothing.
Most people are going to survive through this, but let's be honest, it also could have been worse. So the question is, are you going to start making choices today about your health, about your obesity, about your smoking, about your habits? Are you going to start making choices today about your financial education? And are you going to take ownership for where you're at right now? Unfortunately, everything you hear coming out of the media is preaching it's not your fault, and the government's going to take care of you, and that's just going to set you up to be a slave, and then the next crisis is going to hit, and the next crisis is going to hit.
Fear can paralyze you, but fear can also inspire you. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. When I feel fear, I want to attack. Other people want to run.